season's Magical Girl Spec Ops Asuka is not great. It's a spectacle of gore, fan service, and increasingly disturbing things done to every passing character, but it's part of a larger trend. Puella Magi Madoka Magica came out in 2011 and changed the magical girl genre, particularly the warrior subgenre, which is basically the only one that gets made these days anyway. But fans of existing magical girl shows, nowadays called traditional magical girl shows, have a bone to pick with its legacy. See, while there were some shows aimed at adults before, and some of them got kinda dark, Madoka was really popular, and like any popular show, more like it followed. Since it aired, nearly every show in the genre that's come after and isn't a sequel or remake to an existing property has been increasingly violent, hopeless, and edgy. Grimdark magical girl shows are now their own subtype with a wide fanbase, but for those who want the hope, friendship, and fun that the genre is supposed to be known for, there are slim pickings. Especially since most of Precure isn't licensed, and that which is either the worst quality hard sub since the 90s or a cut-and-paste job born from nostalgia for 4Kids, and Prisma Elia will probably put you on a watch list. But if you want magical girls that don't have contempt for their genre and the concept of happiness, there are still some shows available legally that you can check out. I won't bother covering Sailor Moon and Cardcaptor Sakura or their remake and sequel, since magical girl fans and the nostalgia market alike know those shows front to back, but they've had wide releases both physical and streaming. There's still more than those, though. Wish Upon the Pleiades is a 2015 show based on a 2011 net anime. Produced by Gainax after most of their veterans went to Studio Trigger, it's actually sponsored by Subaru, as in the car company. Which is a little weird since it's not about cars, but things like the logo, powers, and magic items resemble Subaru's logo and product, and the novelty is amusing even if I don't know if the show sold any vehicles. It's got an interesting premise of all the characters being from slightly different alternate universes and being retconned into the one where they become magical girls, and the flying and making patterns with motorized staffs in the air is pretty cool. The ending is bittersweet, and some of us might be disappointed that a Subaru anime would make the main couple het, though I don't think that association exists in Japan, but it's still a nice, happy show. Find it on HIDIVE, Crunchyroll, or physical release. That's also where you can find 2016's Flip Flappers, a weird, colorful, glorious genre-hopping adventure with magical girls entering an alternate dimension. Think Abenobashi, but Yuri. I know a lot of people are tired of manic pixie dream girl plots where a normal person falls in love with a weirdo who shakes up their life and drags them into fun and self-discovery, but both Kokona and Papika are rounded enough to be actual characters, and the happily bizarre tone is fun to watch. There are a few uncomfortable bits, like fan service and awkward character designs, but if you like time travel romance and bright colors, check this out for sure. I've talked before about Pre-Tier, the new Legend of Snow White, which you can find on Funimation now. It's from 2001 and it's a shoujo harem hybrid with warrior-type magical girl. If you like love triangles, adaptable powers with different costumes, and really loose fairy tale adaptations, Pre-Tier will send you on a nostalgia trip. It's pretty different from the manga, but for 13 episodes it's a nice diversion, and it's good to see it's still licensed and around. And speaking of fairy tale adaptations, 2002's Princess Tutu is on HIDIVE now and is on its 6th physical release. I've discussed this one before a few times too, but while it too is a dark show, it's very different from the current idea of one. Princess Tutu takes place in a fairy tale world where the main characters realize that the writer, an actual entity in the universe, is gleefully aiming for a bitter ending where everyone suffers. While different characters react in different ways to this, the lead, who was written to be a minor character and a tragic figure with no agency, decides she's not just going to try and help the prince regain his heart like she's supposed to, but she's also going to try and get everyone a happy ending. Something current shows should do, really. For Amazon Prime users, Vivid Strike is part of the Lyrical Nanoha franchise, which technically makes it a spin-off of a spin-off of a spin-off. It's really more like a shonen battle series with cute girls and slight mecha elements, but it is technically Magical Girl, and while Nanoha's got its problems with the type of people it likes to appeal to, it's still an optimistic series with a lot of great characters and an intricate magic tech system if you're into that. We may have slim pickings if we're looking for current releases of traditional or at least happy magical girl shows, but there are still a few things besides the big-name classics that anyone can check out. As well, some shows where the license has expired can still be found on the secondary market or even in stores that still stock them. Let me know in the comments what your favorite magical girl show is and what you think of the grimdark subgenre compared to the others. This is Secret Identity Studio, and somebody please license Precure. I am suffering.